Hi there, and welcome back to the CKM Red Rugby League channel and the Red Star channel as well. We have managed to find some time in the busy schedule of Darren Fisher. He's been nice enough to join us live from Belgrade ahead of this Saturday's big fixture against the Ukraine. How are you going, mate?
Pretty well, to be honest. Yeah, it's been a good positive week. So I'm hoping the positive stays there with us.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit before we got started, and you're saying that it's certainly gone quick for yourself. Flying in on Thursday and then straight into it with the boys. What's the feeling in camp, especially off the back of Ukraine's big win yesterday? What's the overall feeling from the team?
It's just about trying to keep on his feet. Really, since we're flowing on Thursday, my message straight to him is I'm not overly worried about Russia. I'm not overly worried about Ukraine. I'm more focused on what we're about. So obviously that was one of my first messages on Thursday night. Let's concentrate on what we're doing, and we'll just see how we progress. Obviously, we knew that Russia was a key fixture for us. We had to get a result, obviously, and it's a good job before that we prepared well for that, because obviously that was key. And then since then the mood's really positive. Like I said, just trying to keep on his feet really, and to keep the boys focusing on one game at a time. As obviously each game pivots on the next, so it's important that we're focused on just one game at a time. But like I said, the key focus is just on ourselves.
Yeah, and you've got a good team around you. You've got a nice mix of young and old. I mean, who's your standout leaders in camp so far? Is there anybody that's really sort of taken hold of things, or is it just very much a combined effort from the team right now?
Yeah, Stefan, the skipper, and Voya, they're both taking quite a big leadership in the group. Which I'd expect from captains. They're really helping me understand quite a bit in depth about the boys. Obviously, not had that much chance to get to know them inside and out yet. So they're giving me some really good pointers on the boys, and really helping me, but really helping them as well. So anything that I'm saying or putting in I'm making sure that it's clear instructions, and then I'm just double checking then that they're understanding, so that they're helping me deliver that. So yeah, there's but saying that, after Sunday, I think there's quite a lot of leaders in the group. The experience is there. They're talking to the boys, some of the younger youth and stuff like that. So you can see a real leadership group within the team, which is really positive.
Yeah, and the level is somewhat higher than a lot of people expect coming into Serbia. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about your role. I mean, you're very new to the role. You've predecessor Stuart Wilkinson did a great job in laying some of the foundations, and the coaches before him. Were you surprised by the level when you got into Serbia and the skill set?
Yes and no. No, in the respect that these boys, some of the experience have been around a while. They've had good coaches in the past. I've had good relations with them since, obviously, with my coaching internationally. So I've had a good relation with the boys, some of the senior ones and Serbian officials. So I do, and I have watched the games. So I have had quite a bit a background with Serbia. So yes, in that respect, that I did appreciate that some of these boys have got skill. And on the door side is that in the fact that we can still learn, and we can still learn a bit, which is, again, is a positive. Probably one of the hardest things is when a new coach comes in is knowing the balance of where we're at. So some of the things that I put in has been new. It's been, an exciting aspect of something new. So that's why the boy, in the yes and no, it's a very good mix. So the boys are excited about it, and again, the abilities and that is good to see, because people are still wanting to learn, which is, is a positive one. Even after the back of some of the really good coaches that Serbia has had, it's a really positive note that the boys are keen and wanting to learn new things as well. So it's a really good mix. It's good to see.
Yeah, and you're working with not just the players themselves, but some of the players that have been around the system a little while, some of the former NRL players who've come and done coaching. Eddie Pettibone's out there at the minute with ourselves at Red Star. Brett Davidson, who was formerly with Red Star, done a bit of work at Partizan as well, a former Canberra half. You know, there's plenty of skill and wisdom being imparted on that league, and I'd like to see that's definitely leaving its footprint and leaving a mark on the competition. And I think the rising skill level over the last few years has definitely demonstrated that. And I mean, as a coach, is it difficult working in different systems? Because obviously you've got Red Star who play a certain way, Partizan who play slightly differently, Dortmund maybe play to a slightly different system. How hard is it to get everyone to buy into this new way of coaching, this new system that you're trying to implement, especially on such short notice as well?
That's kind of where I want about, you know, with the abilities, because we with international rugby, when you come in, you've got these boys for a very short time. We don't have the luxury of training them and coaching into a structure Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We're getting basically in a camp. The boys are working during the week, so you can't have them all day. So you literally get a couple of hours. Luckily, if you get them 3-4 times in a week, so the players have to respond really well to how positive you are in coaching. You have to deliver a system that everybody agrees with as well. You know, whether you're highly experienced NRL or really domestic and new to the game, but you've got you show some enthusiasm, and you might not be, your core skills might not be as good, but the enthusiasm outweighs the skill. So you have to come in really with a fine balance of how you want to deliver and what you want to deliver. It has to be acceptable, you know, from 1 to your 21-man squad, or maybe more if you get a couple of some people that's outside the 21-man squad turn up. So you have to be quite open to accept skill levels at different times. So basically, really, what I wanted to do and trying to achieve is making sure that we're all on the same wavelength, and we're all on the same path where we want to be at. So where we want to be from the beginning to where we want to be at end of the competition on Sunday. So that's basically what I've tried to deliver in the short space of time, is making sure that we all understand what his jobs are, whether it be a fullback or as captain or as back rower. We need to make sure that we're all on par, basically, and we all deliver the same throughout. And if we all on the basis of understanding each other, it's quite important that we just follow that through now, and hopefully that'll be the same case on Saturday.
Yeah, and it's a huge game Saturday. The implications on both sides are huge. The winner getting promoted to Euro A, obviously that's going to be massive when it comes to the bigger fixtures over the next few years, and playing in those big autumn internationals against, you know, some tier 1, tier 2 nations, and having seen Serbia or the Ukraine there will be massive for both sides. And you know, we'll talk a little bit on the domestic competition, because we saw with Russia, we spoke on this a little earlier. Russia struggled mainly down to their domestic pool being dormant for a little while and things being out of action, whereas the Ukraine and Serbia both have thriving competitions, and you can see that in the fluidity of attack and even those defensive structures and little things like running in pairs and support and things like that. I mean, how important is it for international rugby league to parlay off the work of the domestic game?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. You know, you have to have a good competitive domestic league to be a challenge in the Euros. You know, from whatever nation it might be. If you went to those Euros, you are picking, you know, the best domestic players, and for them to be any better or improve, they need to be playing in these Euros. Now, to get there, you have to have come from a decent domestic structure, whether you're playing regularly or at least fortnightly. You know, it has to be competitive as well. You know, sometimes you get one side that sort of attracts the big boys and, you know, the really ball skilled players, and every team gets thumped by them. Now that for me in raising the bar, you've just got one quality side in your domestic team, which then is dominant in probably your selection. But if you have a fair balance where they're all at least competitive and you're getting 30 points to 20 perhaps, or 20 points to 10, that's competitive. That's when people are learning to play a little bit of structure systems, and they're working for each other, and it becomes competitive. And that competitiveness is what makes them a better player. If you want to be one of the best, you have to be in and around them, and that's a key figure in the domestic game, being competitive. There's no point having two teams that are sailing high and the rest are very new to it and get thumped every week, because there's not much learning curve there apart from that people just walk away. Bearing in mind they're all volunteers as well, so it's voluntary rugby league, and it's tough to keep these in there, and to keep the interest is being competitive as well. So yeah, the domestic leagues are really important, and it doesn't matter which nation it is. They have to have that domestic home base throughout, whether it's 1 team to 4. If you've got a 4 and you've got a mini league and you play every fortnight, at least you're playing some competitive rugby. To have none and hit the Euros is a little bit suicide, really, because as you've seen with Russia, they've struggled a little bit with COVID restrictions to get a domestic league up and running, and you could see it evident in both sides. And yesterday they were still recovering from Sunday, so they were a bit deflated, and it was sad to see in a way. It got to after about 40, 50 minutes. I wasn't really over keen on watching the rest, but I guess I had to, just to hope on the Russia picked up something, and they still came with a little bit, but it's evident to see that domestic leagues are really important.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll touch on that short turnaround, because now it's the Ukraine's turn to hit that short turnaround, and obviously they did show that they were a fitter side, a more structured side. There'll be a few players that you've definitely got your eye on. The number 6, Alexander Skorbak, who hit 40 points in that game. The big centre on the edge, Troyan in the number 3, probably one that you've earmarked as well. Ukraine have some strike weapons. How wary are you of those individual performers, and how is Serbia going to do what they can to shut them down?
Well, I didn't realise 6 and 3 played, to be honest. Yeah, we do. We talk, like I said, much focus is on about us. They'll be in a different game come Saturday, which is where when you play the team that's soft from Sunday and they've only got a quick turnaround, for them, they'll be still a little bit fresh. They haven't picked up no injuries, I believe, so they will be fresh after Wednesday, and they'll be in a different game where we'll be fresh. So we'll see what 6 and 3 is about, really, and fair play to them. They had a good game and against Russia. I just hope it's going to be a tasty one for everyone that's out there supporting and watching.
Yeah, there's going to be some big bodies in that game. As some of the players that you've already mentioned there, the captain of Serbia, Steva Stevanovic, is not a small man. Stefan Nedeljkovic, again, another big unit. Both sides are coming with plenty of size. There's plenty of force in this one. There's going to be a bit of brute force aggression. There's going to be some quick line speed. Both sides are going to be keen to get into each other from the off. How important is it that people don't get lost in the occasion and the hype around the game, and treat it as another game rather than getting sucked into that grand final mentality and burning out in the early stages?
That's what I've been keen on, about remaining grounded. We have to take each game at a time. Although it is sort of the Euro B Grand Final, if you want to put it in those words. We have to remain focused on ourselves, and I keep repeating that because it is a big focus that, and ourselves is the most important. We have to be able to manage these occasions as well. If we are successful on Saturday, which I hope, we'll have plenty of big boys teams in the next comp, so in your away and playing those games, we have to be able to manage our emotions as well. We don't want to get in the hype that, oh wow, we're playing Scotland this week, wow, we're playing Ireland, wow, we're playing France, or wow, we're in England, and we have to be able to manage our emotions mentally and prepare well that way. It's a difficult one, not to when you see so much press and about it and the hype around the games. But I'm really keen on making sure that our players remain focused. And like I say, each game has to come one at a time because the next will pivot on it. You know, so for us, what the result it comes on Saturday will lead us to whatever we play next. So whether it'll be remaining in Euro B or whether we at Euro A, and that's what we have to sort of remain focused on is just the game, ourselves, not get hyped up in sort of the emotion and enjoy it as well. Enjoy the fact that, you know, we're out there playing again, not in such a grand final sort of environment, but one that we can also digest as well after and, you know, and during the game, and let the boys enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, and I think we've covered enough of the game there. Let's talk about yourself. You're from not too far from myself. You were from Eastmoor, out Wakefield way. I'm from Leeds. You know, we're local boys somehow covering the world of European rugby league. How did you manage to get yourself involved? Obviously, you were in the Spain setup for a while. How did you manage to get yourself onto the European scene?
Well, right back then, I'd been coaching at Wakefield Trinity for quite a while, and my playing days weren't quite over as well. So I dropped into coaching and play coaching with a little bit of Eastmoor, and like coaching at Wakefield. My attempt was to go to, well, my theory was to go to Australia. I'd got offered a contract in Australia to do a bit of play coach. So it was contemplating going to Oz and take this contract as player coach. So we decided to go on holiday in the thinking of, you know, it's a big move. I'm going to have to go on my own to start with. I'm going to have to leave my wife and my children at home, build up something, you know, for them to come over to. So I was going to probably be on my own for about 6 months of the year. So we decided to go on holiday and have a think about it, and we landed in Spain. And while I was there, I was obviously pinging emails across and talking about the venture, about moving over. And, you know, I said to my wife, sat round the pool and having a bit of a beer and a cerveza and stuff. So I can't believe there's no rugby league in Spain. You know, it's a massive part of Europe. And so anyway, when I got back into the UK, I'd seen an advert that they were after Madrid players to play at the university in Madrid. So I said to my wife, this just must be fate. You know, how have I seen this Madrid advert for players, for rugby league players, when we've only just been talking about it? So I made contact to go over to Madrid, and I was going to play. It's only a couple of hours on the plane, so that was the idea. Once I got talking to the officials in Madrid, it was a case of, oh, where are you from? What's your intentions? What's your CV? So once I sent it over, and I told them that I was at Wakefield Trinity and my coaching background, and just back then I just got the RFL Coach of the Year. So yeah, it was a little bit of negotiating. Then, can you come over? When can you come? Can you coach a little bit? Can you play coach? So that was the next step. I flew over, landed, and realised that there were only 4 people involved. So I had no players, no balls, no cones. So probably leaving 400 people when I resigned after 6 years. We, you know, a couple of qualifiers and stuff. So yeah, that was really when. And in between that, I'd coached the Bar of Great Britain under-19s as well. We went on tour. I coached Yorkshire for 3 years, and I managed to get the head coach role on the last, and we won the series, which put me in line for the Bar GB. So I took a tour inside to Canada as well. So another bit of international experience. So I've travelled a bit now over the years, you could say, and yeah, like I say, I've been in touch with Serbia and keeping in touch over the years, right since can't even remember the year, but when Chris Chester were involved at Eastmoor, we had Dalibor and Zoran. They both came over and played at Eastmoor, so we've had a good relationship, and I have particularly with you know, Jovan and Kika as well. So really good relationship with the boys, and we rally and everybody. So yeah, it was just fitting when I got the call. Really, it made sense for us both.
Yeah,
yeah.
You've certainly got some frequent flyer miles under your belt. Serbia is in more than capable hands. I think we will leave it there. Let you get back to enjoying your time in Serbia. I know that you've got training with the team and everything going on. So best of luck for Saturday. And yeah, if you are wanting to watch that game, you can do on the Rugby League European Federation official Facebook page. It'll be a 1 p.m. kickoff in the UK, 2 p.m. local time, which is Central Eastern European. And yeah, we will see you live then. And thank you very much for joining us, Darren. And we'll let you get back to it.
No problem. Thank you. Speak soon.